Hello, I'm Landon Schlungen, and today we are going to be building this blog website with Svelte. It's going to be functionally similar to what we have here, where we have these tags up on top, and then we have our cards that have our different articles. And when we click onto an article, it will bring us to that article. Right now I don't have much written there because it's just a side project. And then we should be able to go back to articles. And then if we click on these, then it will just bring up the ones with those tags. So if I just have React, then it's only the two that are related to React. If I bring up Elm, then it's just the one that has Elm with it. If I bring up investing, then it's just the investing advice. So this is what we're going to be building today, and stay tuned. I'm going to be putting in the Vite setup video right here as well. And if you've already watched that video, or if you know what you're doing there, you can just skip ahead. So to get started, we're going to be using Vite and Svelte. Right now they don't have the template, they only have the template view here, but we can just go through the steps by just doing this part of it, this command. So go into VS Code, make sure you're in the folder that you want this project in, and then we just paste in that command and we name our project. In this case, I'll name it Svelte Vite Setup. And then it should take us through a couple steps here. We want Svelte, and then we want Svelte TypeScript. So there we go. And it already set up our project super quick. It's right here. And now we want to add Tailwind to it. So to add Tailwind to it, just go here. We want the using post CSS configuration. And to do the npm install for it, it's just this command, and we also want a Tailwind config file, and that's what the npx tailwind init is for. So we'll paste that in there, and it should give us the files that we need. Actually, that was not right because I'm not CD'd into our project, so that kind of sucks. Make sure you CD into your project, Svelte Vite Setup. So there we go. Now now we can npm install our Tailwind post CSS auto prefixer and Tailwind CSS, and then it will actually go into the correct project. So there we go. We have our Tailwind, and then this warning is for using common.js instead of JS. So we will just change that for our Tailwind file. Use common JavaScript, and then it goes away. Next thing, we need our post CSS config.js, and it didn't make it for us, so we will have to make that. Not too hard. Just go post css.config.cjs. This one also has to be a common JavaScript file, and then save that. So that should be good there. Next thing it says is to add the content. So we'll just copy that line, and we will go back in to Svelte config, actually no, Tailwind config and content where that array is. Put that in there, and then we also want to check for TypeScript files and Svelte files. So we'll save that. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to add @Tailwind base components and utilities. And this can either go into a main.css file, or what I like to do is just put it into our app and put it into our style tag here. I'll delete all these styles that it comes with, and we'll make sure it's global, and we will also make sure that it's language equals post CSS, and we will paste that in there, save it, and then now we should be using Tailwind. So if I go into, actually let's get rid of this counter, and let's make a button. Sure. Let's make a button. We'll give it a class equaling to padding 10 and margin. Actually, we'll go px of 10 and py of 3. And then we'll also give it a background color. Background color of, let's do red. Go red 500 just so that it clearly stands out. And we'll name it Tailwind. Save that, and then we will start this up with just npm run dev, and then we should be able to go to localhost 3000, and it should show up. So there's our Tailwind button. Great. It's got the background and it's got the padding on it. So So great, now we know that Tailwind is working. Next up, we need to add DaisyUI. So just go to DaisyUI.com and then go to install. We need to install with npmi DaisyUI. Let's end this, paste that in. There we go, we have DaisyUI in there now. And then in Tailwind config, inside of our plugins, we need to require it. So we'll go require DaisyUI, it shows up. And then we should have DaisyUI now installed. So we can use their styles. Let's try making a DaisyUI button. We'll go button.button and we'll give it a button primary color. And we'll say primary button. And we will also do a secondary button, because why not? Button secondary. And we'll go secondary button. Great. And then we will restart our server, or restart our project. Go to localhost 3000 again, and there we go. We have DaisyUI successfully installed. It has their buttons, their light theme buttons, so not cupcake. We'll go light theme. It has these buttons right here, and if we go to their components, these buttons right here. Alright, so now that everything is set up from that previous video, first thing we want to do is probably change the name of our project. So I'll just change the name of it here. I'll change it to Svelte blog, and that should work fine. Getting a bunch of saves, but it should be fine. Next thing I want to do is I want to install a couple more packages. These packages are Svelte Navigator, so that we can actually navigate between pages. npmi Svelte Navigator. I also want to add Tailwind typography, so we'll go at Tailwindcss/typography. So that should be good there. And then yeah, let's just install these two. And then also want Vite tsconfig paths. This will just allow us to use the absolute paths instead of having to do / everything. We can do source /. So let's add those in. Make sure I spelled everything right. I think I did. All right, cool. So to use the Vite tsconfig paths, we need to go into our Vite config, or Veet config. It's actually Veet, which means fast in French, I think. And so we want to do tsconfig here, or tsconfig paths, and then we want to import that. Import tsconfig paths from tsconfig paths. There we go. And then Prettier will auto-format it. If you want to customize your Prettier, all you have to do is go into package.json and add a Prettier tag, or a Prettier object right here. So here I added Prettier. I want the trailing comma to be ES5, tab width to be 2, semicolon. I don't want semicolons because they just make it more bloated than it has to be. And then I want to use single quotes. No, I want to use double quotes with all these. So now if I go into Vite here, it should get rid of the semicolons. And there we go, I saved it and it got rid of semicolons. So that's just how we can customize our Prettier. Now let's get started on making this blog. First thing I want to do is probably get rid of this lib folder. So I'll delete that. Let's get rid of that as well. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is get rid of everything inside the app. Okay, so now we have an empty project, and now let's start adding our pages. So inside source, we're going to add a folder called pages. And inside pages, we're going to have our different articles, articles.svelte. We're going to add investing advice, .svelte. All the different blog articles that we want. We can just add another Svelte page there. Let's just start with 3 for now. Inside articles, we'll just have a div articles. And we'll try and get navigation up and running, so I'm going to do that first. Go div, this is investing advice. Inside here, we'll go div favorite framework. Vue versus Angular, same thing. And then inside of our app, we want to get Svelte Navigator. That's why we installed it. So up here, we want to import router and route from Svelte Navigator. Should have that, yep. And then inside of here, we want to put our router. And if you know anything about React routing, this is going to be very similar. For our pages, we're going to add a route, and this route is going to have a path on it. So path equals Slash will be to slash articles, or slash will be to articles, and then so we'll add articles here, and my IntelliSense picks that up and it will auto import it. For some reason it's not using source though, which I'd rather use source, but it's probably fine anyways. So there we go, I have articles there. Let's add another route. Let's actually copy this a couple times. Option shift down, and we'll go slash investing advice slash my favorite front end framework. And we'll copy this one more time here for Vue versus Angular. Vue versus Angular. And then instead of articles, we're going to import those different Svelte files. So go investing advice. We will go my favorite front end framework, and we will go Vue versus Angular. Great. So now if I go to these routes when it's started, it should bring up those routes. So let's stop my other project here and let's just run this one. So there we go, localhost 3000, go there, and there we see articles at slash. If we go to slash investing advice, then it shows investing advice. So looks like our routing is working. Now in articles, we actually want to switch it to slash articles and maybe have a home page, but I think I'll just keep it as slash for now. This will be in the next project. We'll switch it to slash articles and then make a Pokemon app. So how do we make this? Well, we need these different cards and we need to add the different data to them. So I'll just copy and paste that over so that we have data to work with. So we'll go to articles, and we need some JavaScript in here, or in our case we're going to use TypeScript. So we'll go up here, lang equals ts, and then I'll paste in our data here. Here we have React versus Svelte, Vue versus Angular, investing advice, my favorite front-end framework, all in here. It should be, what, 4? Is it just 4 of them? 4, yeah, just 4 articles. So I'll have to add another one quick here, but I'll do that later. And then we have the tags as well, so I'll add those in as well as the interface for a blog. So there we go. So we can actually type this. This will be a blog array, and that will be good. These are the different tags that we have available, and now we want to make that page. So first thing we want to do is we actually want to use pros here as well. So we'll go div.pros.mxauto so that it will be centered. And pros is from Tailwind, and all it does is add some nice styling to our H1, H2, H3 paragraph elements and maybe some others. And we'll name this blog articles. Blog articles. There we go. So that should be showing up now. Let's actually do this so that we can see both at the same time. I kind of like that. And then we'll just do JB. And then there we go. If we go to slash, and we'll see the page that we're on. There we go, there's our blog articles. For some reason it's not picking up our pros. And the reason for that is we actually have to go into let's actually use this. We have to go into our Tailwind config, and inside of our plugins, we need to require our Tailwind typography. There we go. And once we do that, yep, there we go, blog articles is now a nice big H1. So let's go back to our articles. There it is, and it's a margin top of 5. It is not centered, which is a little concerning, but there's probably a reason for that anyways. Alright, let's just ignore that for now. And we want to have a div here, and I guess what's the first thing we need to do? We need to loop through these. Actually, let's get our tags on the board. So this will be a class of flex and flex wrap. And then in order to loop through our tags, we do an each block, and we don't have this stuff for now. Let's actually get rid of this. I just want to show the tags. We'll give it a class of button and button primary though. So each tags as tags. So here's our tags, and then we name them tag, and then we can just reference the tag inside of our HTML. And then there's our tags, they show up. We still have that customization on there. I kind of want to change that back, or just use maybe the light theme. Let's do that. Let's go to index. Let's just use light, and there we go. That's changed to something that looks a little bit better, I think. Go back to articles, Alright, now we want to loop through our blog links as well and display those. Alright, so what I did here is I just copied this over from my other project, and we want to loop through our blog links, which are right here, and name them blog. And then we want to have a button that when we click on it, it will now navigate to the blog.path. So in that case, it's this path right here. And we gave it a class of background neutral hover. It has a neutral focus, margin Y of 5, padding of 8, card, gives it the border radius, and then width full and text neutral content. And then we give it a class of, we give this here class of 2XL. That's the title, have the description just be a paragraph, and then we flex wrap the tags. So if the tags are too big, then it will wrap around. And then we give the tag padding of 4, padding X of 4, padding Y of 2, margin of 2, background secondary, rounded, medium. And then we put our tags there, and that's these tags that are specified on the different blogs. So that's great, and we just got to make sure that these tags are the same as these tags. So right now, clicking on these won't actually do anything, but we want to make it so that when we click on these, it will filter these out and only show the ones with those tags. So we are going to do that next, and I guess I'll just make sure that clicking on this will bring us, which it doesn't seem like it does at this point. Even though I am getting navigate. On click will navigate to this blog.path. Don't know why that's, oh, because I didn't save it. So once I save it, then it will bring us there. View versus Angular. I guess I forgot the React versus Svelte one, but I have these ones. And my favorite framework. Nice. Okay, great. I wonder if it's because this has to be width full. Why is it not getting centered? Maybe I'll just do text center. There we go. Blog articles is centered. The tags, I guess, will just have to be like this. Or I can do maybe MX auto there. Maybe this has to be a flex container. Is that it? No. Not sure. It will. Alright, so how do we make it so that when we click on these, it will filter these out? Let's try and figure that out. So we need to add an onClick event to the tag. So instead of just a class here, we'll go onClick, and we will make a separate function. It'll be set selected tag, set selected tags, and we'll pass in the tag. And then we will make that function right here, set selected tags. It'll be a const equals a function, and this will take in this tag right here. So we'll just do that, and it's going to be a string. And actually, kind of what I want to do is use stores for this. Yeah, we'll use the Svelte Stores for this as well. So inside of our source, just make a new folder called stores, or yeah, stores. Why not? And then we'll name it store.ts. And inside of here, we want to import some stuff from Svelte Store. We'll import get, and we'll import writable from Svelte/store, and then we will import the type of writable from Svelte Store as well, just so that we get some typings here. And then we want to make our store, and it's going to be a store of tags. So we're going to do selected tags, which is going to be a type writable string array, and that will equal a writable, and then it will be an array by default. And then we're going to actually move that set selected tags over there. So we'll just take that and move it to store.ts. Inside of here, we're going to say if we get a selected tags dot includes the tag. Okay, so basically if this array includes a tag that we already selected, then we want to basically deselect it, I believe is what we want to do. So we're going to do selected tags dot update, take the previous tags and do stuff with them. We're going to return previous dot filter, and where the tag does not equal the new tag. And then we want to say, also we want to make sure this is exported. That's why it was blurred out there, because it wasn't exported. Otherwise, we want to add it to our array. So it'll kind of be the same thing here, except instead of doing a filter, we're going to just return an array of the previous plus the tag that is added. that we want to add. And now in articles.svelte, we just need to import this, so do command dot and it should bring up the options. Just import that and then save it, and then should actually probably console log it just to see. Where do I want to console log this though? Let's console log it inside of our articles. Just right here. I'll put it into a reactive block. I'll just do CLO $ selected tags, and then we'll import selected tags from our store. There we go. Let's save that. Let's inspect here. Console. Okay, you can't really see that very well. That's really annoying. Let's dock it to the right. All right, here's our console. If I click on one of these, then we get React, Svelte, and then if I click on React again, then it goes away. Click on Svelte, then it goes away. So that looks like it's working perfectly. Next thing we want to do is we actually want to change these styles if it's selected or not selected. So let's do that. So inside this class we just have button primary, but we want to change that. We want to keep button, but let's actually first make this into backticks so that we have more control over it. And then we'll add some JavaScript in here. And we'll do selected tags dot includes tag. If it does, then we want to do a button secondary. Otherwise, we want to do button neutral. Button neutral. There we go. And we'll just add a margin top of 1, or a margin of 1, so that they aren't all touching and it looks like garbage. All right, there we go. Now they have some space around them and they're all neutral, but if I click on them, then they will change colors, and if I click again, then it will go back to normal. So that is working nicely, nicely done. Okay, now we want to filter out the different articles based on the tags that are selected. So in order to do that, we need to go down here, and we need to add an if block. So an if block in Svelte is just hashtag if, and then we add our condition, and then we just add where it ends. It'll be slash. It'll just be slash if here. All right, and we need to add our condition. That's why it's yelling. And our condition will be just this right here. Tags included. Oh, I don't have this tags included function. That's why. Yeah, we need to make this tags included function as well. We'll go const tags included. This will just be in here because it's not really specific to the store. And this takes in our blog, and it will actually return true or false. So it will return a boolean. It will take in our blog, and it will take in our selected tags. Save that. Return true. Okay, so for some reason it got rid of the div here. All right, there we go. Now it's back up and running. The blog will be of type blog, and the selected tags will be of type string array, I believe. And then we want to loop through our tags and see if they're included. And then if they are, then we return true or false and return our different articles. So we'll go for let I equal 0. I'll go I less than search or less than selected tags dot length I plus plus. And actually, I kind of want to change the name of this here so that it doesn't get confused at all. So I'll change this to search tags. Search tags, great. And we'll say if blog.tags.includes our search tags of I, then we want to return true. Otherwise, we want to return false. So there we go. So basically, inside of our each blog, there's these tags. So we do blog.tags, and we check with includes if that tag is included inside these tags. And if it is, then we return true, otherwise we return false. So if I click on React there, now it's only the ones that have React. If I click on investing, then it's just the investing one. Angular is just the Angular ones. Great. So now I want to show you how you would write a blog article, I guess. Sure, why not? But this is pretty much done. Just add your articles and make sure you have a good slug on it so that it'll be picked up by Google and then be showed to a lot of people. If we want to change our article, it's just HTML. If we want to use Markdown, I found that Svelte isn't really that good for for Markdown, so with Markdown support. So I would recommend not using Markdown with Svelte unless you want to get frustrated a lot, but yeah. Otherwise, just do class equals pros and just start adding H1s and whatnot to this investing advice. And yeah, if we add pros, it should change the investing advice one. There we go. If we want it to center, I think MX Auto should center it. I don't know why it's not. I guess we'll just use text center. Maybe it's because everything else needs to be flex. That might be why. Oh well, there is that one other article that I could add. React versus Svelte. I'll just add that quick here. React versus Svelte. Svelte. I'm going to give React versus Svelte. And then inside of our app, we'll add that here. This will be React versus Svelte, and this will be React versus Svelte. And now that one should work as well. So if I click here, React versus Svelte. Nice. Great. All right, so that's how you would make a blog in using Svelte, TypeScript, Tailwind, and DaisyUI. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Make sure you comment. I read all the comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.